I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Donald Trump just filed a very desperate motion in Fulton County Superior Court in Georgia in connection with the ongoing criminal investigation by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. This very desperate motion asks Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney to please, Judge, reconsider your prior denial rejecting Donald Trump's ability to file another brief, to file the reply brief to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's opposition. Judge McBurney previously ruled on May 19th that he does not need to see any more paperwork at all. Donald Trump filed a motion back in March, on March 20th of this year, and he asked in this motion to disqualify Judge Robert McBurney. He asked Judge McBurney to disqualify himself. He asked Judge Robert McBurney to disqualify the Fulton County District Attorney from further investigating Donald Trump. In Donald Trump's March 20th motion, he also requested that the Fulton County Special Purpose Grand Jury, which heard all of the evidence regarding Donald Trump's criminal conduct in connection with 2020 election interference, Trump and his lawyers asked that the report be quashed, even though the report has not been released yet in its substantive form. There have been 3 sections of it that have been released, but not the portions that actually state the recommendations of who the special purpose grand jury believes should be indicted. And so Donald Trump filed that motion back on March 20th. Fulton County District Attorney responded on May 15th. Donald Trump on May 16th, through his lawyers, filed a request to Judge Robert McBurney saying that Trump wanted to file a reply brief and wanted the reply brief to be of a significant length and to have substantial time. I think they asked for 21 days to file a reply brief. And let me just give you the order from May 19th, 2023, from Judge Robert McBurney. And this is what McBurney said on May 19th. Order on additional briefing. On March 20th, 2023, former President Trump filed a motion to quash the special purpose grand jury's final report and to recuse the Fulton County District Attorney's office from further investigation into prosecution of alleged interference with the 2020 general election in Georgia. On April 28, 2023, Kathleen Latham, one of the alternate electors advanced by Georgia's Republican Party in the aftermath of the 2020 general election, filed a motion joining former President Trump's motion. On May 15, 2023, the district attorney responded to the 2 motions, and certain media interveners did the same. On May 16, 2023, former President Trump lodged a, quote, request to file a reply to the district attorney and the media interveners' response. To date, the court has received well over 500 pages of briefing, argument, and exhibits on the issues raised by former President Trump and Ms. Latham. That is plenty. There will be no more briefing unless it is solicited in writing by the court. So ordered, May 19th, 2023, signed by Judge Robert McBurney. You see the mention of Kathleen Latham, one of these so-called alternative electors. I refer to them as the fake or fraudulent electors who affix their name to the electoral certificate, fraudulently stating that Donald Trump won the state of Georgia in 2020 when President Biden won the state of Georgia, and these fake electors submitted their fake electoral certificate voting for Donald Trump to be counted on January 6th as part of the broader plan to overthrow our democracy. One other fact about Kathleen Latham worth mentioning, she was the chair of the Georgia Coffee County GOP, and she's the one who let into the Coffee County election offices, certain forensic examiners who worked with the Trump campaign, who basically stole election data from the Coffee County election offices, private election data, to be manipulated by the Trump campaign. So she plays a very important role, Kathleen Latham does, in Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's preparation of RICO or racketeering charges, because when you focus on Donald Trump at the top and the Trump campaign, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, they wanted to seize voting machines. When that couldn't be done, they did the next best thing. Let's find our MAGA Republican allies that have connections with these local state election offices and steal the data that way. One of the examples is in Coffee County with Kathleen Latham. She ended up joining Donald Trump's motion, which was one of the reasons I had stated that Trump filing this disqualification motion or motion to quash or whatever the heck he was calling it backfired, because it kind of demonstrated the aspect of it that I said Fani Willis is focusing on, which is the RICO or racketeering charges, because you can see the connections there between Kathleen Latham and Trump, and now you have Kathleen Latham like joining that motion. Just for other reference, in the opposition that was filed on May 15th by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, she basically stated that Trump doesn't even have standing to file this motion. The special purpose grand jury simply provides recommendations. Those recommendations go to a grand jury, which actually does the vote to indict, but the special purpose grand jury makes recommendations. So Donald Trump faced no injury at all. He doesn't even have the right to file this motion. He hasn't proven the requisite standards for disqualifying a district attorney. He hasn't showed the requisite standards for disqualifying a judge. And so that's what Fani Willis filed on May 15th. Trump asked to file the reply on May 16th. I read for you the order denying Donald Trump's request by Judge Robert McBurney on May 19th. And this is the motion that Donald Trump just filed, basically begging Judge Robert McBurney, please, I want to file a reply brief. Please let me. It's unfair. It's just Donald Trump whining and ranting and raving through his counsel in this motion. Here's what it says. It says, comes now President Donald J. Trump by and through, again, you're not the president, by and through undersigned counsel, and files this motion for reconsideration of the request for time to file a reply, filed on May 16th. It goes through some of the dates and deadlines. It talks about how the state responded. And then it talks about how a group of former federal and Georgia state prosecutors filed a motion for amici curiae in opposition to President Trump's motion. Goes on to say, Georgia's Uniform Superior Court rules do not contemplate amicus briefs, much less amicus motions, unlike the rules of the Supreme Court of Appeals of Georgia, as well as the federal rules of appellate procedure and the United States Supreme Court rules. Additionally, the term amicus curiae means the friend of the court, not the friend of a party. Here, the former prosecutor's brief attempts to buttress the state's response and fails to provide new information or expertise to the court. Moreover, the interest of the amici curiae is nebulous, ensuring that all parties potentially subject to criminal investigations abide by the well-established processes and precedent governing the ongoing criminal matters. Let's go to the next paragraph where it says, at this point, 3 different entities, only one whom is a party for the matter, have filed briefs in opposition to Trump's initial motion. President Trump has not been given the opportunity to respond to one of them. In parallel, albeit less egregious circumstances, the court afforded the state an additional 2 weeks to respond to a then new filing by Ms. Latham. President Trump seeks only the same courtesy, though he originally sought to reply only to the state and media interveners. President Trump now asks for leave to reply to all responsive filings. The court could ameliorate, though not fully cure, the harm to President Trump by striking the uninvited non-party filings, but that would still have the state's response unrebutted. As circumstances have changed since the court filed its order denying additional briefing on the matter, yet another non-party has filed in opposition to his original motion. President Trump, he's not the president, respectfully requests that this court reconsider his May 16, 2023 request for time to file a reply. So just what does all that mean? What Donald Trump is saying is, it is really unfair that you gave Fulton County District Attorney up until May 15th to file an opposition brief. You gave her way too much time. One of the reasons she got the time she did is because Kathy Latham did a joinder of Donald Trump's motion, which actually pushed the deadline back. But of course, Fulton County District Attorney would file an opposition. There's nothing egregious about that. Trump filed the motion. Then there was an opposition brought. Donald Trump's requesting to file a reply. There's no need to file a reply. The judge says it has all of the briefing that the court needs. And then Donald Trump's also saying what's really unfair is that these former federal prosecutors, they all know, and these former, state officials, they all filed this motion as well, where they just asked the court to consider some of their, they did an amicus curiae just to consider their points of legal authorities about why Trump is wrong. So now I'm prejudiced. It's just more freaking whining from Donald Trump. The court said enough. The court does not want to hear any more briefing on this issue. Yet Donald Trump just continues to whine. He uses the legal funds that he grifted off of donors, likely, to keep filing these motions over and over and over again, and to continue to just engage in this vexatious, annoying litigation that's seeking to delay. But Judge Robert McBurney knows what's up here, and this just looks very, very desperate. By the way, how desperate has just Donald Trump in general looked over the past 48 hours? Remember, he sent that letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, basically begging Merrick Garland to have a meeting and saying Jack Smith was treating him unfairly. This is the part of the malignant narcissism, the sociopathic behavior, where Donald Trump believes that the judge is going to be like, yeah, man, I feel bad for you. Or what Merrick Garland's going to be like, I feel for you, man, I feel for you. That's what Donald Trump thinks in his malignant narcissistic mind. Ain't happening. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. Check us out at Patreon and make sure you hit the subscribe button here and subscribe wherever audio podcasts are downloadable. Search for the MeidasTouch podcast. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel and have a great day.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment Season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.meidastouch.com.